What is going on, guys, and welcome to another matchup video. Today we're going to be breaking down the Axe versus Juggernaut matchup. Now this matchup is overall pretty one-sided, but it's very dependent on the supports, and it could definitely sway the matchup in either character's favor. Say the Juggernaut is playing with a Crystal Maiden, he's going to have a pretty good chance of killing the Axe as long as they land their spells correctly and in synergy, and they will be able to get the kill onto the Axe with a Frostbite combo into spin, because Axe can't really deal with the spin that well. It's a lot of magic damage. He's quite tanky, but it's still just not good enough. So you definitely need to be careful when you're picking Axe into Juggernaut and see what the support matchup is going to be, and make sure you have a pretty good support on your side as well, as the laning phase for Axe is pretty important. Even though he can recover in the jungle quite easily, as he's one of the best stack takers in the game, it still doesn't feel very good to be relegated into the jungle as an Axe. One of my favorite support pairings for the Axe is always going to be the Techies. He's one of the best meta supports in the game right now, and he provides so much utility for the Axe because he's going to be chonking down the enemy team, and they're going to get to a point where they're going to be so low and so out of regen that you're going to be able to walk up to the creep wave and just call them even without your blade mail, and you're going to be able to kill them quite easily. And if you have your level 6, it's going to be easy dunks, and when you got a nice call with your blade mail and a Techies does blast off, you're going to be doing so much damage that it's going to pretty much guarantee you some free stacks in the early game. For the item build, a lot of players always stick to the same idea of getting blink first then blade mail. I don't share that same idea. To me, it honestly depends what you need. If your team has enough damage to be able to follow up with the call, then definitely get the blink dagger and just get the setup. But if your team doesn't have enough damage, then you go straight for the blade mail. It's going to help you farm better, and it's going to help you get the kill if you manage to bridge the gap. It's going to be a little bit slower, of course, as you don't have that blink to be able to catch them off guard. But if you have a support that can do that, say a Vengeful Spear that can just swap, or you have a nice reliable stun like Ogre or Shadow Shaman Shackle, when you got things like that, you don't really need to worry about the blink so early. So just get your blade mail so you can get your farm even faster, and you'll be able to get some really easy kills. And then you go back for the blade mail, and pretty much the item build has always been pretty standard. You can go for items like Lotus Orb, AC. Aghanim Scepter is fantastic on Axe. It depends heavily on what your team needs as well, because if your team needs a Lotus and you need an Aghanim Scepter, you need to be able to get the Lotus and then delay your Aghanim Scepter, as the Lotus is such a strong item on Axe. It'll definitely protect you from a lot of things. Lincoln Sphere is also a very good option. I just feel like it's a little bit greedier. I feel like Lotus Orb is a lot better, as well as Lincoln Sphere can be put on teammates, but I just find that Lotus Orb, depending on the game, tends to be a lot better on Axe and provides a lot better stats when it comes to armor, as you're going to be building up armor stacks like crazy if you're having a good game. And there's very little things the Juggernaut can do to the Axe. One of the things Juggernaut can definitely do is get a Sanyanyasha to reduce the call time, so it's going to make it really quick, so you won't take as much damage. You could also get a Diffusal Blade to burn Axe's mana. Axe is a pretty dumb hero in general, has very little intelligence, and you're definitely going to be having mana issues, especially in the early game if you're being quite active. It's going to be quite difficult to stay consistently around the map without having a stick. This hero's practically unplayable without a stick, as you're going to be running out of mana consistently, and Soul Ring isn't really a good build up for this hero, I don't think. Definitely delays your timings quite a bit, and Axe is a very timing based hero. You need to get your timings online to be able to be effective on the map quickly enough. But there does come a point in the late game where Juggernaut really doesn't give a crap of how much armor the Axe has. He will definitely obliterate him if he gets a Solar Omni Slash on him, and you're definitely going to have to use your call defensively to get that extra boost of armor to live through the Omni Slash. There's definitely a few ways that the Juggernaut could definitely do some work in the late game, but I feel like if you're a good Axe player and you're playing around your vision, there's really no way the Juggernaut's going to get away from you, as you're going to blink call him into a creep wave. Or if you're playing with a bounty hunter on your team, you're always going to have vision of that Juggernaut where he's farming. You're going to be able to smoke gank and kill him off cooldown, and Jug isn't really one of the fastest farmers in the game unless he goes Maelstrom or something like that, Battle Fury, so his recovery route is going to be a lot slower, and you are the offlaner at the end of the day, so it's not really costing you much resources to be able to blink call. It's just costing you mana. So I definitely recommend you guys to ship out some clarities from time to time, have your stick, and if you get an item like Lotus Orb, you're going to have less mana issues. You could even go for Shiva's Guard, which is fantastic if you are being extremely active around the map and you feel like you're having a lot of problems with your mana, because it will happen on these games where you just need to constantly make space, constantly go for smoke plays. It's definitely what you got to do on Axe. Once you hit your blink blade mail timing, it's go time. And one of the pairings that I found was actually pretty good, more than I expected, was when somebody picked mid lane Legion in my matchup. It's actually fantastic. You'd think they would both kind of screw with each other, But if you wait for them to blink duel, once the duel is ending, you blink and you call, that target is dead. I don't care how tanky you are, you're absolutely dead. That's 2 targets with blade mail, so you're definitely gonna die, and it's a lot of lockdown. So if there's a very pesky hero around the map, you can definitely take care of them easily with this combo. I definitely would not recommend, if you see an Axe, to pick Juggernaut. It's definitely not a very favorable matchup for him. It doesn't do him any well, and he's definitely gonna get destroyed unless the Axe is completely incompetent, playing without vision, and just overall very far behind on everything. Because if you are far behind, like anything in Dota, matchups stop mattering if you're that far behind. But overall, this matchup goes to Axe. I definitely feel like Axe is one of the strongest offlaners in the current meta. Even though he's not being played that much, I feel like he's very, very strong, and if a player knows how to play Axe, they can get a shit ton of value from him. Let me know what you guys think about this matchup in the comment section below. I definitely feel like the supports make a really big difference in this matchup, so definitely pick it with a nice aggressive support like Techies on the Axe side, and you'll be able to get kills on the Juggernaut, burn his resources, burn his spin and his healing ward, and you'll definitely be able to kill him multiple times in lane. But you need to be careful, because if it is Juggernaut CM, it's a very difficult matchup, as they could definitely kill you early on, and you need to play more defensive and buy boots early on, as that's going to help you get away from the spin a lot better, as Juggernaut doesn't tend to rush boots early on. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. A like would be much appreciated. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.